Algebra 1 notes for section 4.1. This section is about the coordinate plane. The coordinate plane is the x-axis, the y-axis, and all of the points. When you make a coordinate plane, remember that the horizontal axis is the x-axis, the vertical axis is the y-axis, and the point where they cross is at 0, 0, or the origin. The points on the coordinate plane are always listed as ordered pairs. Ordered pairs are an x and then a y, and the x number tells you how far left or right you need to move, and the y number tells you how far up or down you need to move. Take a minute to copy down this picture. You don't need to use smiley faces, you can just put dots at the points. But pause the video and take a minute to copy down this picture, and then we'll work on writing an ordered pair for each point on the graph. At this point, you should have the picture already drawn, and now we need to make an ordered pair for each one. Let's start with this one right here. When we make an ordered pair, we do an x and then a y, and the x is how far left and right we go. In this case, we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units to the right. So it's going to be 6 for the x value, and it doesn't go up or down any, so 6, 0. The next point, right here, has an ordered pair at 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. We went 3 units left or right, and then 2 units up. The next point goes backwards 2 units, so the x value is negative this time since we're going to the left. For the y value, we're still going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. So it's at negative 2, 6. This point goes backwards in the x direction, so negative 1, 2, 3, 4. And it also goes negative in the y direction 3 units. So it's at negative 4, negative 3. The last point goes positive 1 in the x direction, and then negative 1, 2, 3 in the y direction. So it's at 1, negative 3. The coordinate plane is also split up into 4 quadrants. So if I have a coordinate plane, there are 4 big sections that are created. There's one section here, one here, one here, and one here. And those 4 sections are called quadrants. There are 4 of them, and we number them 1, 2, 3, 4, but we always number them with Roman numerals. So this quadrant in the upper right is quadrant 1. Then go counterclockwise around. That one is quadrant 2. This one's quadrant 3. And the Roman numeral for 4 is an I and then a V. Points in the first quadrant are always going positive in the x direction and positive in the y direction. So it's always a positive number, a positive number. In the second quadrant, we're going negative in the x direction and positive in the y direction. So it's a negative, a positive. Third quadrant is negative and negative again. Negative in the x direction, negative in the y direction. Fourth quadrant, we're going positive in the x direction and negative in the y direction. So a positive, a negative. So let's look and decide which quadrant these points are in. Take a minute, pause the video, and try to figure out which quadrant they are in on your own, and then we'll go over it together. Remember, the quadrants are labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this point is in quadrant 2, this point is in quadrant 4, and for the test, if it's right on an axis, you're going to write that it's on the x-axis. If it's right on the line, it's technically not in either one of the quadrants. It's on the axis. Now let's plot some points. Take a minute, pause the video, and try to put a dot on the graph where the point -4, 1, and put an R next to that. Then put a dot at the point 0, -5 and put an S next to that. And lastly, put a dot at 3, -2 and put a T next to that one. Pause the video and try to do this on your own, and then press play again and we'll go over it together. Let's start with point R. Point R is at -4, so I need to go backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then +1. So point R is right there. Point S goes 0 left and right, so it's not going to move left or right at all. It's just going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Point S is right here. And point T is at +3, -2, right there. And a quick review of quadrants. The quadrants are 1, 2, 3, and 4. So point R is in quadrant 2, point S is on the y-axis, and point T is in quadrant 4. The homework assignment for section 4.1 is on page 195, numbers 14 through 36 even, and number 39.